we're on.
We're going to call the meeting to order. Tuesday, the 18th of January, 2004. The invocation will be provided this evening by the Reverend Louis Bernard from the First Christian Church of Homestead, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by the Police Explorers and Councilwoman Wallman. Would you all please stand?
In the book of the prophet Jeremiah, in chapter 29, verse 11, God says, I know the plans I have for you. Plans that will prosper you. Plans that will give you hope. Plans that will bring you a good future. This is what the Word of God is saying to us tonight. Let us pray. Father, we come before you knowing that we want to be in your will. And guide us tonight in this chamber. And may the collective decisions that we make be according to your plans. And may they prosper us. May they bring hope to us. And may they bring a good future to the city of Homestead. We thank you for your love, your grace, and your presence. And we ask all this in the name of your Son and our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mrs. Bell? Here. Ms. Garner? Here. Mr. Hodge?
Here.
Mr. Losner?
Here.
Mr. Porter?
Here.
Mrs. Waldman? Here. Mayor Warren?
Here. Additions, deletions, deferrals, Mr. Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have item 6B1, the vacation of Maui, deferred to February 7th council meeting. Need additional time to review the traffic study and each party. This is requested by
Thank you, sir. On the special presentation, I'm going to deviate from the agenda to ask, if there's no objection, Lieutenant Commander Carlos L. Mercado from the U.S. Coast Guard to come forward and make an announcement. Lieutenant?
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Warren and Vice Mayor Bell and council members. Greatly appreciate this opportunity to, I want to introduce the unit that we're standing up here in Homestead, as well as to the council members and the mayor, as well as to the public. The Coast Guard has stood up since 9/11 what they call maritime safety and security teams. These are anti-terrorism teams that are based throughout the nation. And we're fortunate enough to be stationed here in Homestead. Here in Homestead, we'll basically deploy throughout the coast and all over the nation, even outside the United States, to help protect the United States needs. Our job, again, is anti-terrorism. And Mayor Warren, right here in front of you all, I have an invitation as well as a PowerPoint presentation just for your review later on so you can see what we do. On 31 January at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we're going to have a commissioning ceremony for the unit, which puts us in effect in commission, and we can do our jobs. We just got back from 30 days of special training in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and we're looking forward to serving the public here in Homestead. So, my name is again Lieutenant Commander Carlos Mercado, and on the PowerPoint you have my contact information as well as my executive officer there, Lieutenant Helena Robinson, if you could stand. Don't let her fool you, she's pretty mean. She keeps me squared away, that's all. But again, it's open to you, Mayor, as well as the council members. Please do attend. It's going to be a great event. Congresswoman Ross Laitman will be there as the honorary guest speaker, as well as Vice Admiral Cray. She is the commander for Atlantic Forces. So it's going to be a pretty neat event, and we're going to show a unity effort with Air Force. We're going to have F-16 there, as well as our Coast Guard fast boats, as well as Customs and Border Patrol will have a Black Hawk out there to show a united front for Homeland Security.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant Commander Mercado, and let me welcome you and your unit to Homestead, and we look forward to the work that we know you're going to do to protect not only Homestead but our country. So thank you very much for coming, and we look forward to the ceremony on the 31st.
We look forward to having you and serve the people of Homestead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to ask Dr. Alvin Brennan to come forth, the newly appointed principal of Homestead Senior High School. And I invited him here this evening just to officially introduce him to the Homestead community, but more importantly, to allow him an opportunity to introduce himself to the community. So, Dr. Brennan, we're pleased that you're here. We know you got a major task ahead, but we want to share with you that we're here to support you and do whatever we can to have a first-class high school in Homestead. So thank you very much, sir, for accepting the appointment. We look forward to your contribution.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just want to say on behalf of my boss, Dr. Rudy Cruz, Superintendent Miami-Dade Public Schools, I'm very excited about taking on the task of improving the quality of education for your children here at Homestead Senior High School. It is a challenging task that I'm looking forward to it. I think the children are excited about it, and I think that together with the city's help, with your help, we can only do great things for our kids here in Homestead. Again, thank you, Mayor, for welcoming me. I've met with the Mayor, I've met with the members of the Chamber, and I am here to extend my hand and the hand of the Homestead Senior High School family to this community so that we can do great things for our kids in the years to come, because they are our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. And welcome aboard. Item B is the presentation of Certificate of Accomplishment for 25 Homestead Senior High School students for their accomplishment in the, quote, We the People competition. Councilman Hodge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, we've introduced Dr. Brennan, and already he's showing accomplishments there with some of the students that at Homestead Senior High School. And, you know, I don't want to do this presentation alone. We do have a chair of our educational committee, so I do want to call our Vice Mayor Bell up front to help me make these presentations. As a matter of fact, I just want her to do the talking. I'm going to stand back.
Thank you. On Friday, November the 19th, 2004, the We the People, the Citizen and the Constitution competition was held at the Metro-Dade Government Center. The We the People competition provides teams of senior high school students with the opportunity to share their knowledge of the principles of the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights during a simulated congressional hearing. The nationally acclaimed program is based on curricular materials developed by the Center for Civic Education. It's a very exciting program. And there were 4 winning schools: Miami Carroll Senior City High, South Miami Senior, Miami Killian, and Homestead Senior High. And these are the winning schools, and they're going to represent their congressional districts, which are respectively 17, 18, 21, and 25, at the state level competition to be held this month in Orlando. The winner of the state competition then goes on to represent Florida at the national finals in Washington, D.C. this spring. So, go Homestead! And congratulations to the following senior high schools. There was other schools, but we're going to go ahead and name the names of the students, and if you're here, please come and accept your certificate. You want to see the names? We'll take first. Tamara Acosta. Cynthia Arosina. Please forgive me if I mess up some of these names. Guadalupe Rodriguez. Takoya Middlebrooks. Derek Lazo. York Cordero. Dana Fornalio. David Torrente. Jose Aguila. Anna Afkan. Alberto Dana. Garfield Gomez. Christina Martinez. Luis Vieira. Stephanie Smith, a nice easy one. Thank you. Denise Fields. Pakev Joseph. Lenise Merozier. Olivia Piesic. Erisledi Amarante. Emmy Centeno. Rebecca Simmons. Jorge Zamora. Angelo Trussell. And Farah Penil. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Now, when you win the state competition, you're going to come back here and tell us all about it. And then when you go to Washington, D.C., I'm coming with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Bell. Before you guys sit down, I would like for Dr. Brandon to come up so he can take a picture for me. Could you come up front? Go up front. Okay.
I just want to say that I'm very proud of all my students for participating. They made us proud, and we've made a commitment to continue to improve so that we can become all good citizens. Thank you.
Well.
From the lights. Look, they're standing there. I can't see anything.
Coming right in.
It's too late now, I can't see.
Okay.
I think they...
Okay, sure.
You did very well.
Thank you.
Again, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you.
Well, next we have the presentation of certificates to the Citizen Academy members. Mr. Manager, who's going to handle that?
You are.
Why, me?
Mayor, as you're going up, I'd like to announce that we have a Boy Scout from Troop 10. Am I right, Mr. Gold? From Troop 10 doing a project here with us today, and he's fulfilling part of that project. Do you want to say a word?
Excuse me, we need you to come to the microphone.
It's okay. It's okay. I just want to recognize him. It's okay.
Right there. Right there's fine.
I'm from Troop 10, and I'm doing a requirement for the Maripad citizenship in the community, and where I have to attend a town meeting, and I have to get the budget of that meeting, and then talk to my counselor about how they spend their budget.
Well, I'll hook you up with our finance director. Elaine, you have a job over there after the meeting. Thank you and welcome.
Good evening. It's a real pleasure to have the opportunity here to hand out certificates to our second graduating class for the Citizens Academy. The Citizens Academy was designed to, like Government 101, I guess I should say. We work hand in hand with FIU University. They go 2 hours a week for 7 weeks to learn about government, both in general and local government, i.e. the city of Homestead. What normally happens in the format is FIU gives the first hour, the city of Homestead, department heads and representatives from each of the departments give the second hour, and then we culminate the course with a tour of our facilities. The idea of the program, one, is to get citizen involvement, have them understand how their government works, have them understand how government works in general, and hopefully when they see how we work, we're pretty close to how it's being taught in the science of government. Sometimes we match it, sometimes we're a little off left or right of it, and not exactly on top of it. But we do hope that at the end of the day, these individuals who give their time to come and their interest in finding out more about how their city operates and how government operates will go out and serve, if you will, as I call them, disciples out in the community that really know how, one, to access government, can tell other people how to access government, rather than if issues are out there being discussed, and many times they are, and the facts really don't match what the real scenario is. We're hoping that our people from the Citizens Academy can advise other people how to contact individuals at their city and get the facts and then make their opinion. That's all we ask for when we work in city government. Again, I would like to congratulate the whole class. Like I said, it's pretty tedious for 7 weeks, 2 hours a night to come in, but we've had very good classes and some very interesting conversations, and I think everyone that has attended has graduated from this class has enjoyed it. So with no further ado, I will call your name and come up and then remain for a picture afterwards. Cheryl Perez. Yeah. Oh, they have T-shirts also. We don't go halfway here. Faye Chisholm.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Jewish people, obviously.
Oh, I shouldn't say. Okay.
Charles Albright. Elena Lopez. William A. Martin. Angel Garata. Yeah, in front. We'll take a picture. There's angels in there. Gloria Rains. Graciela Vasquez. Mike Gonzalez. Mike here tonight? Oh, behind there you go. See you there. William Tybo. Bill here? William Tybo. Francis Swartz. Evelise Gonzalez. Okay, we again thank the members of the class. We enjoyed having the interaction with you. We will have 2 of these a year, so we'll be setting up another one. Lillian handles that for us, and we thank Lillian for that in the summer here, just right before the spring, I guess.
I wondered if it was me because the time since you stepped out.
You're up again. Presentation. She didn't have to run this year.
Now, I'm told that everyone got an A in the class. Is that correct? Next on the agenda is the presentation of a proclamation to Dr. Richard Shinoff, Vice Mayor Bell.
Dr. Shinoff, why don't you join me, please? Why don't you bring your lovely wife with you, as I'm sure she's worked as hard as you have. In fact, she's a professor in Kendall campus. Well, this is just a real pleasure for me since I graduated from Miami-Dade Homestead. From Miami-Dade campus, of course, that's when Dr. Phillips was there. I'd like to read this proclamation on behalf of Dr. Shinoff. Whereas Richard B. Shinoff has been part of the Miami-Dade College family since 1968, educating students of every race, class, and ethnic background, and whereas Richard B. Shinoff's goal has been to provide an outstanding educational experience for students by improving leadership, communication, and achievement of each individual, and Richard B. Shinoff has been the president of Miami-Dade College Homestead campus since 2003, and developed the educational plan for the Homestead campus, and Richard B. Shinoff has attained many personal accomplishments which have been beneficial to the community, including the development of the advisement, graduation, and information systems to monitor student success in meeting educational objectives and graduating eligible students, and whereas Richard B. Shinoff also developed the midterm academic alert system, which provides individualized midterm letter students with a prescription for improvement in academic performance and encouragement to continue on with current academic achievement. And whereas Richard B. Shinoff encourages academic excellence by promoting success in higher education. Now, therefore, we, Roscoe Warren, the mayor and the city council of the city of Homestead, Florida, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, January the 18th, 2005, Richard B. Shinoff Day in Homestead.
you so much, Vice Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager. It seems like yesterday when I first came down to Homestead, and almost 20 years ago in 1988, when Mayor Pesco, the City Council, and the community leaders invited the administration of Miami-Dade to come to Homestead and look for a location of a campus. And I'm so humbled by this proclamation. Thank you so much. I've had the honor to serve the community as Dean of the Homestead campus from 89 to 95. And then I served Miami-Dade as president of 2 other campuses, and then came back 2 years ago to finish my career in Homestead. I'm going to be retiring the end of next month. And what a wonderful place to finish my career at Homestead. But although this proclamation was given to me, it's really a team effort that made our campus so successful. We have a wonderful faculty and staff. Let me just see, how many people here have gone to the Homestead campus? Fantastic. How many have been to any campus at Miami-Dade? Great. We have a large impact on the community. And then to come back and serve as president, but almost just as equally as important has been the support that we've received from the City Council, from the community, to help our campus develop, and it's going to continue developing, continue to provide a great educational experience for the citizens of this community, and all of us can be very proud of what the Miami-Dade Community College District and the campus is going to do for our Deep South Dade area. Again, thank you very much for that proclamation. Both Steffi and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Shinoff, I just want to again express our appreciation for your leadership in higher education and the gift you brought to this community, you and so many others so many years ago. And that campus has really been one of the rare jewels in Homestead that will last for a lifetime. So we want to thank you for your service. Thank you. Vice Mayor Bell will be making a presentation of certificates of appreciation to the coach and assistant coaches of the Florida City Razorbacks.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want everybody out there to know that Mr. Losner wants to know why I'm up here and I'm not even up for election this year. We have honored the Razorbacks twice so far, so I decided that rather than bring up the kids again, because we've done that, we've honored them because they're so successful, that I felt like we needed to recognize the coaches, because it's the coaches who give of themselves a lot of time for zero pay, and it's a real work of the heart. It's real dedication. So I wanted to bring up the coaches tonight. I wanted to honor them for their hard work. And I hope you guys are here this time, because last time, I see you back there. I gotcha. Okay, and I want to call the coaches, and those of you that are here, please come up. We really do want to honor you for your hard work with the Florida City Razorbacks. And I'll let everybody know that Florida City is our sister city, and about half of the kids on the Florida City Razorbacks team live in the city of Homestead. So I just want you to know that. And it doesn't matter anyway, it's all about the kids. I would like to call up assistant coach Anthony Braggs, coach Anton Hall, assistant coach Todd Spate, assistant coach Robert Collins, assistant coach Corey McDowell, and I'm going to give you these. Assistant coach Roger Hall, assistant coach Georgia Williams, assistant coach Milton Clark, and assistant coach Terry Edwards. And I really want to congratulate these coaches for their hard work and dedication. It really shows in these kids, and they love their coaches, let me tell you. Would you like to say a word?
On behalf of Florida City Razorbacks, I would like to thank City of Homestead for appreciating us this year again. Unfortunately, last time you had this meeting, we were on our way up to Orlando for the national championship, and that's why we couldn't attend. But this year we had some good news that we did win, and the kids played their hearts out. And this Saturday we're going to be featured on ESPN on a show called Timeless. Guys are welcome to look at it, and you'll see a lot of things that went on while we were up there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next agenda item is a video presentation. Proposed city slogan, quote, "Homestead is home," unquote. Councilwoman Woman.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to apologize. First of all, I thought I was rid of my awful, nasty Christmas cold, and with this little cold snap, sinus infection, so I've got a cough drop in my mouth, and I apologize so very much. And see if I can get through all this tonight. Mayor, it's my honor to announce tonight, finally, that our tourism board has come up with what we hope to be adopted as our new slogan, tagline for the city of Homestead. And I think we have a little PowerPoint, so if I could ask you to please come down in the audience, it's only going to be like 2 or 3 minutes. And while we're setting this up, let me just say, and I can't see very well because of these lights. Are there any members of the tourism committee here? I see Bob. And anybody that's here, please stand up. So, any members of the tourism committee? These people deserve a lot of credit. They really do. They deserve a lot of credit. Thank you. We've had several meetings, actually about, I would say, 9 months worth of meetings trying to come up with a new tagline for Homestead. It's been a struggle. We've divided up into groups. We've gotten rid of those groups and divided up into other groups. We've brought it to the citizens. We've asked people in the newsletter to give us their opinion. We've talked about it over and over and over and over, and I'm getting sick of talking about it because I can't go anywhere that somebody doesn't say, what is your new slogan? What is your new tagline? So, Mayor, we have come up what we hope is going to be the winning tagline, and that is Homestead is home. Now, this was a drawing that was done by a young fellow that I know who wants to remain anonymous, but we're going to hopefully use this for all the children's programs. And we'll go on, Lily. This is what it's going to be, hopefully. Homestead is home. And we'll just take you into our little presentation so you can see where we're coming from. Homestead is home of the Homestead Miami Speedway. Homestead is home of Biscayne National Park. Homestead is home of Everglades National Park. Homestead is home to a historic downtown. Homestead is home of Art South. Homestead is home of the Homestead Rodeo. Homestead is home of tropical climates. Homestead is home of the Seminole Theater. Homestead is home to quality of life. Homestead is home of premier communities. And this is just the beginning. We can turn the lights on and you can take a seat. This is just the beginning. It's something that we can play on, we can use. It can be Homestead is home of whatever. So we thought that that'd be a wonderful way to market our city, to have it, and how lucky are we that we actually have a town with the word home in Homestead. So with that being said, Mayor, that's our presentation, and I believe that we have under my business, we're going to bring it up and vote on it. Any comments or questions?
I like it.
I personally
like it.
I like it. Do you like it? Yeah, I like it too. You wouldn't believe some of the things we come up with. You should feel very, very glad that we have this. They got a little crazy at times. So we'll do that business a little bit later in the meeting. And I'm staying up here because I've got a whole bunch of stuff to do. The Mayor, you going to announce each thing?
Yes, the next item is the presentation to IHOP and the Ranger for their participation in the Breakfast with Santa event.
Can I ask Mr. Ram to come forward, please? This is my buddy. How are you? Good to see you. He has a cold too, so we're two of a kind here. For those of you who may not know this gentleman, this is Mr. Ram, owner and manager of the IHOP of Naranja. Recently, Mr. Ram generously donated a pancake breakfast for those in attendance at our first ever Breakfast with Santa, and that event was held in December. Mr. Ram donated all of the product, all of the labor, and all of the paper goods for the breakfast, greatly contributing to the success of the event. And I've been told that there was probably about 1,000 breakfasts that you served. Yeah, I stopped counting. The pancakes, of course, were delicious, and the service was top-notch, and we thank you for your generosity very, very much. The Parks and Recs Department tells me that when other restaurants were called, many of them didn't answer their phone, they didn't call them back, they didn't respond in any way, and time was really running short. Time was running so short. But you volunteered without any hesitation, without even thinking about it, and we are so truly grateful for that. One of our goals is to continue to provide safe and enjoyable activities for the children of Homestead, and you certainly have helped us make that possible. Thank you so much for your donation, for reaching out to the children, for reaching out to your community, and the residents of Homestead. And on behalf of the mayor and council, please accept this plaque, which is not the plaque you're going to get, but this plaque, and I'll read you what it's going to say, but it's going to be much larger than this. 2004 Breakfast with Santa Appreciation Award, Naranja IHOP. Okay. Go ahead. I know him as Mr. Ram, as we all do.
It's Parsuram Ramkisoon. Mr. Ram is fine.
Mr. Ram is fine. Presented by the City of Homestead in recognition of your generous contribution in support of our city's youth and overall quality of life, January 18th, 2005. And we will have you a much larger plaque. So, thank you, Ram. Just so you know, he has the best steak dinners you just to die for. And what are those strawberry things that we get, Mary? The blintzes. I couldn't think what they're called. Oh my God! If I went there as often as I would really want to, you'd have to wheel me in here. But he's really got a great restaurant. My mother just had dinner there last weekend, so thank you. Yay! And he's a great contributor to the Chamber of Commerce and very active. And actually, weren't you Citizen of the Year last year? I think. Couple of years. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. The next item is the presentation of a certificate of appreciation to the Police Department Project SOS volunteers.
Yes, and at this time, I'd like to ask Captain Ed Bowe to come forward and introduce his followers and people.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Chief Roll is making his way up here to join us, and I'd like to introduce Robin Peterson. I've been calling her Santa's little helper for the past 4 months. We start out every September with Project SOS, the program which is the softer side of the law enforcement, we like to call it, at Homestead Police Department. And we start planning for Christmas for those less fortunate than we are. And we do that through many different means of raising highway holdup. You've seen us out on the highway collecting money, and through many generous donations throughout the community. And tonight we'd like to recognize some of those people that have helped us this year. I'd like to start by inviting Dave Kuntz as a representative from Electrical Council of Florida, Miami-Dade chapter. Mr. Kuntz has helped us several years in a row here with a very generous donation through his chapter from Electrical Council of Florida. By the way, I should add at this time, before I forget, we raised over $7,000 and over 300 toys that were distributed throughout the community for children and families.
Very good.
South Florida Trail Riders, I know Peter Shaw is here, and other representatives from the We have Wendy Sue Lewitt. If you all could come up, please. South Florida Trail Riders contacted me about 3 years ago and said, look, we're looking for a new venue, new location we have horses, we dress them up, and I'm like ready to hang up the phone on the person at that point. I wasn't sure what sort of call it was, sounded a little cranky. And then they went on to explain to me that they had done this several years in a row up at Pinecrest. And they said, would you have a location? And I said, well, give me a little more. You dress horses up and you dress up, and what's it all about? And they said, well, we collect toys for the community and we help out. And we heard you do good things like that in Homestead. Would you be willing to partner with us? And at that point in time, I just said yes, and we went from there. And we've had a great relationship since then. They come down for a Friday Fest, and they help out down on. They do cart rides down on Main Street with the children, and they have the horses, a few horses the night before, because the next day they have what's called a Jingle Bell Jaunt Parade out in the villages of Homestead throughout the community. And there's probably about 20 or 25 horses and riders, and they dress up very festively, and they parade throughout the community, collecting gifts along the way. So I'd like to recognize them this year also. Thank you. Homestead Main Street, if I could have Pat McLeod, Steve Shive. I don't know if Yvonne Knowles is here. I didn't see her, but I know Pat is here, and Steve, if you could come up, please. Homestead Main Street, of course, puts on the tree lighting ceremony for us downtown, and every year we contact them and ask them, would you mind if we participate with you? And they're always willing to have us there as partners as well. And we set up a table, and we also charge like 50 cents or $1 for the cart ride, which is part of the money we collect through South Florida Trail Riders. And I'd like to thank them for their support. Thank you. The Homestead Chamber of Commerce, Mary Finland. I know Mary's out there. Every year we have Santa every year, and we bring him down from the North Pole. But he doesn't take his suit with him. Mary provides us with the suit for Santa every year through the Chamber of Commerce. We have to recognize them. Thank you. And at this point in time, Robin Peterson would like to make a presentation to Councilwoman Judy Waldman on behalf of Little Angels Foundation. We'd like to recognize them.
I have a couple more angels in the audience. If they stand up or come up, or come up. Where's my husband? He's an angel. He doesn't want him. He's not an angel. He's ducking. Here's Bob. He's an angel.
As soon as Councilwoman Waldman heard about everything that we were doing in terms of, this isn't just this year, this has been many years now, that she has reached out and contacted us and said, no, I want to be a part of this as well. And through our organization, which she's helped to fund, Little Angels Foundation, they make a very generous donation as well. Thank you. And we couldn't do it without Santa every year. And I hate giving them up, but I hope the children aren't watching. But I'd like to invite Chaplain Fred Crow, our police chaplain, up. And of course, Santa's only part of it. He has a lot of helpers, and you already made me made reference to one of my helpers, and that's Robin Peterson. And I'd like at this time to recognize him.
And if I could just say, Captain Bow, he's my neighbor. I call him Ed, but he gives everybody so much credit. But let me tell you something. It was he that started all of this. And I remember one November him sitting on my couch in the living room and saying, "What do you think about that?" And I said, "I think it's great." And so he deserves so much credit. And I should have had something for you, but I will. Thank you. I tell you, if you haven't donated before, you should really consider donating next year, because when you see the faces of those children and the parents when you're giving out those gifts, it's just remarkable. And I've been a part of the parade in the villages since the beginning, and I know them as Mary and Joseph and Raggedy Ann, and they dress up and they dress their horses up too in costume. So it's a sight to behold. So next year you really ought to come out and see that parade. It's just absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Okay,
next on the agenda is the presentation of the Safety Award recipients for the month of December. Carmen White, Councilwoman Woman.
All right. Carmen. These are the safety awards. We do them every month. Carmen was sick last month when she had hers in December, but they're picked randomly. You just have to be free of any accidents. I've known this girl since she was a little tiny baby. And you get a lot of good goodies. You get a day off. You get your name on a board. You get a little key to the city, and you get a plaque. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Carmen is Chief Roll's right hand.
That wasn't part of the deal, but I had to speak.
Thank you, Carmen.
Next is the presentation to the Safety Award recipient for the month of January, Denise Santana, Michael Hayes, and John Sykes.
Are they here? No one's here?
John.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Come on. Hi, John. As you heard, you get a day off. You get a $25 check from the city attorney's office. You get your name on the board, and you get a little pin. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Presentation of a disc garden to Martha Lovell and Robert Simmons in recognition of their recent retirement.
Can I ask Martha and Bobby to come up, please? Where are they? There they are. I'm excited to do this because they're both my friends. I'm going to put my glasses on for this. First, I'm going to talk about Bobby. Bobby was employed by the City of Homestead on February 4th, 1974, and spent the last 14 and a half years with Parks and Recs Department. 13 of those years, he was stationed at the baseball stadium. Bobby elected to retire at the end of December after completing 24 and a half years of faithful and dedicated service. Jeff Malley, Bobby's immediate supervisor for most of his career with Parks and Recs, says of Bobby, and I quote, "He's as steady a worker as you'll find and always there when you need him." And most of all, you will probably remember our hearts and prayers went out to Bobby and RJ. RJ, sweetie, why don't you come up here too? You want to come up here? In early 2003, this is RJ, this is Bobby's son. He's one of our little angels. When Bobby tragically lost his mother, his wife, and his daughter within a 19-month period. But Bobby persevered and somehow managed to work full-time and continue to be a loving father to RJ. And in June, Bobby and RJ will be relocating to Georgia to begin a new life. Bobby, on behalf of the City Council and all the employees, we wish you nothing. Come up here with me. We wish you, you're nervous, I know you're nervous. We wish you nothing but the very best in the years to come.
Thank you.
Nothing but the very best. And I have another little surprise for you. Not only do we have this beautiful dish garden that we hope you'll remember us by when you see it and look at it. Don't ever give me one because it wouldn't live more than 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, I'm going to let Chanel take it back over there because it's really heavy. But I have a surprise for you tonight. I'm going to present you with the key to the city.
Thank you.
In sincere appreciation, Robert S. Simmons, City of Homestead, for your dedication for more than 24 years of service to the City of Homestead, June 9th, 1980 to December 31st, 2004. And Bobby, you know how I feel about you, so.
Thank you, Ms. Judy.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Just like to say thank you. It's been a long 24 years. Thank you.
Bobby, just 1 second.
I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Do you want to make a little presentation as well?
No. I'd like to thank Parks and Rec for this presentation also.
Home plate. And Parks and Rec
Put that together for him, and they all signed it and autographed it. So, good luck, Bobby.
Thank you.
And good luck, RJ.
He's had a rough couple of years.
And here's my sweetie. I'm so honored. Okay, I'm going to get through this without crying. All right. I'll read what I have, but then I'm going to talk about you. Martha started with the City of Homestead and City Hall, now known as Old City Hall, on October 8, 1973. She started as an accounting clerk in the finance department and later became the payroll clerk. Everyone moved to the new City Hall when it was finished in 1976. In 1981, a separate personnel department was established, and she became the personnel technician. Was that when you were in the basement?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. In 1988, the name was changed to the Human Resources Department, and she became the benefits coordinator. Martha has seen a lot of changes over the last 31 and a half years, folks, with the city, and decided to retire on December 31st, 2004. To spend more time with her mother, aunt, daughter, and grandsons. Marcy Heast, who has worked with Martha for almost 20 years, says, Martha is one-of-a-kind employee. She's a one-of-a-kind employee. She has always been there as our mom at work. For all of us to lean on, help us resolve our problems, or just listen, and she has a heart of gold. She will be missed by all of us. Martha, on behalf of the City Council and all employees, we wish you nothing but the very best in your retirement years, and we, too, ask you to accept this dish garden so that it can remember us by.
Thank you so much.
But I want to just say a little something about my Martha. This is the woman. And Bobby, you know this. This is the woman that when she knew somebody had a problem in our city, our family of people that work here, she's always there. She's always there. Bobby, I don't know how you got through it without Martha. I mean, Martha is just always there. She opens her heart. I know you're not really going to leave us. I know you're just saying you are. I know her. I know she's going to keep track of everything. When I went through my breast cancer, she was there for me all the time, always calling me, loving me. And I love her so very much. And it's not just me, and it's not just Bobby. It's everybody. And everybody loves you so dearly. Martha already got her key to the city. And I was out of the country when they had her party. But she knows that she's going to be so missed. And I'm sorry, I don't think those shoes will ever be filled. I really don't.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. It's been an honor and a privilege to have worked with the city for the 31 years. I can't begin to tell you what a wonderful group of employees that you have here. They are my family. I dearly and truly miss them. And I miss you, and I wish you all the very best. Even Richard and all the departments. Many years together. And I will miss those times also. Even you, Richard. Thank you all so very, very much for everything. I love you dearly, and please take good care of the employees because they are the most wonderful asset the city has ever had.
And I might say that Martha knows forever. All the secrets are buried. She worked in the basement for years and years before we closed the basement up. But she knows where everything. So
The basement was not a bad place.
she liked the basement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Presentation of certificates of achievement to Chanel Costa and Elaine DeVito on the receiving of their bachelor's degrees in public administration.
Elaine? There she is. Okay. This is exciting, too. It's exciting and sad. It's my pleasure to recognize Chanel Costa, Deputy City Clerk. Chanel began her employment with the City of Homestead on April 26, 2004. And we are here tonight to recognize Chanel for receiving her bachelor's degree in public administration from FIU on December 20th, 2004. While working and attending school full-time, Chanel, my little cough drop's gone. Chanel maintained a CPA between 3.1 and 3.4 and plans to pursue her master's degree next year in Human Resources Management. We congratulate Chanel and wish her success in pursuing her master's degree. And Chanel, we are so very proud of you, but we're so very sad. We're going to lose Chanel. Chanel's going to be moving on, and but she's been such an asset to our city, and we truly are going to miss you, and we're so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm going to be very brief. I've been with the city now for 9 months. It's been a pleasure being part of the family. You can always count on what you plan. I plan to be here for years and years to come, and an opportunity presented itself to me for, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. And I shouldn't be, because I did a lot of presentations to get my bachelor's. I've been offered the position of Court Operations Manager for the 11th Judicial Circuit Court, and I've always loved the court system, so it's something that I couldn't turn down. I'm going to miss you all greatly, but know that you will always have a friend in me. And if you have any court-related issues, you can always call me, and I'll try to help you. No promises.
Okay. Thank you.
That's what I have.
What's that phone number?
I have Richard.
Now, it's my pleasure to recognize Elaine DeVito, Administrative Assistant with our Parks and Recs Department. For those of you who may not know Elaine, she began employment last April and has already been making a name for herself as a go-to person. However, tonight we honor Elaine for her recent graduation from FIU as well, majoring in public administration. Additionally, Elaine graduated with honors, making her grade point average exceed the 3.5. What makes this even more impressive is the fact that Elaine, in addition to being a full-time student, she worked full-time through her collegiate years as well as managed a household with her husband, David. I'm proud to inform you that Elaine is continuing her education at FIU University and is pursuing a master's degree in public administration. We are so very fortunate to have you, Elaine, especially in the department that I chair, Parks and Rec. So thank you so much, and congratulations to you.
I just want to give thanks to the City of Homestead, especially my Parks and Rec department. I have a great time there working and doing projects, and especially special projects and special events. And this is a great city that has a lot to grow and a lot to prosper, and I hope to do that right along with it. Thank you.
Finally, close.
Congratulations to both of you.
And lastly, presentation of a proclamation in honor of Arbor Day. Councilwoman Walker.
Thank you. As many of you know, Friday, January 21st is Arbor Day. In observance of Arbor Day, our Parks and Recs Department and the Mayor's Youth Council has planned 2 special tree plantings at James Archer Smith Park. As chairwoman of Parks and Recs, I am pleased to invite all of you to attend this event. Please join us Friday at 4 p.m. at the James Archer Smith Park located at 300 Northwest 12th Street behind the Homestead Hospital. This will be symbolic of the many tree plantings projects that we have to move forward on. And, of course, this will add to our valuable tree canopy that we're trying to do throughout the city. So in honor of that, I have a proclamation. And the reason we're having it at 4 o'clock is that we wanted to, make sure the kids could go to school all day. And so that was the reason for the 4 o'clock on Friday. Whereas Arbor Day is observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the corrosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable source giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, and whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Homestead, do hereby proclaim Friday, January 21st, 2005, Arbor Day in Homestead, and call upon its citizens in rural and urban areas to plant trees to gladden hearts and to promote the well-being of present and future generations. So it's signed by the Mayor and by me. So please come out. And especially I hear that our Youth Council has a really cute little skit. I'm looking at John. They do, don't they? They have a cute little skit that they're going to do Friday, too. So it should be a lot of fun. Thank you, Mayor, and I'm done.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wallman. Item 6 is the consent agenda. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Councilwoman Garner. Any questions, additions, deletions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Richard, we have no public hearing items, do we?
It's been deferred, sir.
Wonderful. We will now go to business from the city manager.
A couple items real quickly, Mayor. I do want to announce to the Mayor and Council and the viewing public and the people in attendance that the Homestead Miami Speedway invites the public to the IRL IndyCar Series Spring Training. It begins Wednesday the 19th and goes through Saturday the 22nd. All events will be free to the public. You can see all the IndyCar Series cars and drivers as they prepare for the start of the 2005 season. On Saturday, January 22nd, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., there will be a sneak preview of the for race fans that will include activities like autograph sessions with the IndyCar Series drivers, behind-the-scenes tour of the garage, Indy racing pole position, interactive games, drive your favorite driver's car in the Indy 500 on a high-performance racing simulator. If you have any questions on the activities, you can call the track at 305-230-5200. Also, the Greater Homestead Florida City Chamber of Commerce will be presenting its 11th annual Super Chili Bowl Cook-Off and Charity Outhouse Race on Saturday, January 22nd, from noon until 4 p.m. at Prime Outlets in Florida City at 250 East Palm Drive. Again, for information, you can call 305-247-2332. If you really continue to think you're going to be bored, here we also want to announce the 56th Annual Homestead Championship Rodeo at Harris Field. Friday, the 28th, it'll start at 7 p.m. Saturday, the 29th at 2 p.m. And the rodeo parade will be at 11 a.m. on Saturday, the 29th of January. And Sunday, January 30th at 2 p.m. If you have any questions there, 247-3515, all 305 area codes. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Could you, I don't know whether Councilwoman Wallman, but an update on the Humpty Dumpty. We got some good news about that. So, do you have that on the?
Well, I was going to ask about it. I know.
Could you give us an update, a status report for council indulgence and the citizen indulgence on the Humpty Dumpty?
Well, we've met several, actually, the staff has met more than I have with them, but we've met and we are moving forward on we have to answer some things with the county in our plan, but a plan for the park, that has been settled. We are going to clean and clear the Humpty Dumpty site. I don't know the exact start date there. We still have some work with the county to do to get the go-ahead, but we do have the $7.5 million set aside for us in the budget for the county, so that's available. It's not something we're going to have to compete with. It's a line item for us to start our project. We're also working with Michael Latner and his staff for monies that the builders have put away toward the park, start looking at designing the park as to what we want in that from our conceptual and what we'll start with first. So that's beginning to blossom a little bit finally.
And while we're talking about parks, Councilwoman Wallman, from Mayor Alvarez's office, you know, as they're beginning to plan a 200-acre park there at the base location, and they welcome my input, so I would suggest that we schedule a meeting with the county to talk about that park, and they want us to be part of the planning and development of the park. So needs that we have at Homestead, that they can accommodate, they will. So I think there's a good opportunity as we talk about having a regional park and having input in the development of this regional park. This is a primary opportunity to do just that, and they welcome us, they want us at the table. So I'm throwing it out to Councilman Waldman. May want to call the mayor's office or Ms. Rice, his contact here in the South Dade, and schedule to meet with the park people to be part of development of that park. I think it'd be good, would it be helpful to the city of Homestead?
We'll be at the table, Mayor.
Anything else, Mr. Manager?
That's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wallman?
Well, you all saw the presentation. Homestead is home. And can I make the motion?
No.
I can't make a motion. Okay. I'm asking for a motion to accept Homestead is home.
I'll make the motion.
Of course you can make a motion. Why can't you?
Of course you can.
Of course you can make a motion.
I thought she said, okay, never mind.
All right. Well, then I'll make the motion that we accept.
I made it already, Chair.
Moved by Councilman Hodge. Is there second? Second by Councilwoman Wallman.
That's it.
Discussion? Discussion? I'm told that the Tourism Committee have worked diligently on this slogan, and they have a lot of give and take, and I think it was a consensus that this is the way we should go. So if there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Mayor, we'll take care of protecting that slogan under the federal copyright.
Well, actually, Lillian, she was over here a few minutes ago. We were talking about that earlier, and we wanted to make sure that we could protect it.
We'll do that.
Thank you, Richard. My business?
Yeah.
Okay. It's my honor, actually. I was contacted a couple weeks ago by the Ethics Commission, and of course, you know, when the Ethics Commission calls you and wants to have a meeting, you immediately say, well, I wonder why. And so I met with them last week, and I was so thrilled. They have chosen me to be the liaison between the city and the Ethics Commission. And they've asked me to set up training for all employees here in our city, from the police department, and separating them, you know, from maybe lieutenants up, and then sergeants, you know, just everybody, from the directors to the assistant directors to all the public employees, all 400 of them, everybody, to the council, everyone. So we're going to have, we talked to Marcy, we're going to set up probably, this will be going on for probably about 3 months. We're going to do all different kinds of trainings, and I think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity, and I'm very pleased to be involved in it, and very pleased that they chose me. I asked them how did they do that, and they said that I had been recommended by several people in city and county government, and so I was very pleased, and I'm very honored. So Marcy and I and Patty will be putting that all together for you. The next thing on my business, Mayor, is I know Ms. Gardner mentioned it last time, I think, the striping on Farm Life, or no striping on Farm Life. I actually almost witnessed an accident there. I mean, people don't know what to drive, and I know we both said something at the last meeting, but you know, that people just drive down the middle of the road, and it's a two-lane road, and I really did almost witness a very serious accident there this weekend, so I just would like Julio and Michael, if you'd check into that. I mean, that... And the lighting. Pardon me? And the lighting. And the lighting. It's so dark, so very, very dark.
Charles? Yes, Mayor, members of council, I spoke with the developers of that area, and they've agreed to go ahead and stripe it. They're waiting for some final cuts in the road before they do the last strip of pavement on it, but they'll go ahead and stripe it now, and then they'll pave over it and stripe it again later.
What about the lighting?
That's something that we're talking to them about as well.
Right, it's dark. It is really dark. Thank you. And I just want to say, because I know the mayor and Mr. Hodge's going to talk about it, but I just want to say what an honor it was for me to be in the Martin Luther King Day Parade. It was pouring down rain, and we were inside the cars, but I had the windows down, and I literally got soaking wet being inside the car. Don't know how I did it, but I managed to do that. But I was so impressed. I mean, I don't have any idea how many people were standing out in the rain, but I would say 1,000, I mean, or more. I mean, just people lining the street. That's all I'm going to say, because I know the mayor wants to say something, but I have to say one more thing, and that is kudos to those marching bands, because they just kept on playing. It didn't matter how hard it rained, they just kept on playing, and it was absolutely beautiful, and congratulations to Marlene and her staff, and to Mr. Brown, and to all the people who put it together. And last but not least, Mayor, I had told Mr. Porter that I would pledge $500 for the canine vest, and I want to present him with $900 tonight. It's every penny that they need. It's done now. All the canine vests are purchased. I'm done.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wall and Vice Mayor Bell.
Thank you, Mayor. As you mentioned, the 200 acres, every time I drive by there, I think what a great spot that would be for a high school, and how that would relieve the burden from South Dade High School. So that's a thought for Parks Department, Parks Chair, Councilwoman Waldman. I want to say that this past week, I know this is aside from the city on a personal note, everybody remembers a couple months ago when we followed a drunk driver from 152nd Street all the way into Homestead, and it took Homestead's finest to nab him instantly while he was, going all the way down. While my husband and I went to court last week, and because we showed up and we took the time to show up, he had to plead, and he had to plead guilty. So there hopefully is another drunk driver off the road for a little while anyway. So of course, our Homestead police officers told me he'll get caught again. So, but I appreciate it very much. And I wanted to share that we had a very intensive education committee meeting last week, and we discussed intensively the proposed site of a high school at the Homestead Sports Complex, and we discussed that at length. And it was pretty much unanimous by the Education Committee that that would not be conducive to a good site for a high school. So Charles LaPrette and I have been working for a few months, actually probably a little bit more than a few months, on an alternate site that we think is going to work, and we think it's going to be excellent. And I would like to go ahead and schedule the committee of the whole, the next committee of the whole. I'd like to talk about that, and I'd like to have that scheduled so that we can really, really beat this up and go ahead and propose that we purchase the land set aside for that. And I'd like to share that, I'll share that with the community at length at a further time, but I'd like to go ahead and schedule that for the committee of the whole. It's a very, very good meeting. We've had some really, really good meetings at our education committee meeting, and it's just a really hard-working committee, and I appreciate their work. And so, like I said, we're working very hard, and Mayor, that's it.
Thank you. Let me just thank the Vice Mayor for taking a lead on this charter high school. Most of you know that it was a request from a significant number of our citizens that wanted a high school, a charter high school there, and they were convinced that that was the right location. It was a very contentious issue, and I want to applaud the Vice Mayor for not only chairing that committee, but kind of diffusing it and showing them that maybe that was not the right site, but the city is still interested in finding a way to build a school, and I think that's the bottom line. We had a very lively discussion about the baseball facility a couple of weeks ago, and as always, the majority see what's best for Homestead. We just move forward with that, but the school is still an issue. We still have some. I'm concerned about schools. The Vice Mayor did not mention that on Thursday of this week, the Commission will finally decide on the EFBD, and that EFBD involved 3 K-8 schools in Homestead. We're very optimistic that we'll get the votes we need on Thursday, but I would encourage, if all of the council members of your schedule allow you to show up on Thursday morning at 9:30, it should be very, very important that we finally get the Commission approval on the EFBD. But we're very optimistic, but if you show up and be a part of our presentation, I think it'd be very, very helpful. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilwoman Garner.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a reminder to the Mayor's Youth Council members, you have a meeting tomorrow here at City Hall at 4:30 to practice for your skit for Arbor Day, so just to let you know. I had a lot of Keysgate residents asking for some information, like a meeting, an educational update meeting. Vice Mayor Bell has said that she will come. Representative Evelyn Greer has said she will come with upcoming decisions on the EFBD and possibly a new school site. I want to wait and look for a meeting in the beginning of February, so we'll wait and see on a couple issues. But I will get a date set for you and let everyone know when that's going to be. And I hope to see everyone on Saturday, January 29th at Harris Field for the Junior Women's Club Annual Rodeo Dinner Dance. It's a primer of dinner. It's $20. It's a good cause. All the money comes back to our community. Live band, lots of fun. So I hope to see all of you out there. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Garner. Councilman Hodge?
Nothing at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Hodge. Councilman Losner?
Thank you, Mayor. It's my first item. Thank you. As my first item that's on the agenda, you might recall was several months ago as part of the rather extensive code overhaul that we undertook. One component of that package was an enhancement to our existing rental property registration ordinance that want to see if, get some input from staff as to where that is, what happened to it, and hopefully get some direction or consensus from council to staff as to whether or not we wish to proceed. It seemed to me at the time that the amendments were a good way not only to help with code enforcement, financial shortfalls, and police department shortfalls, but in hindsight, with some of the tragedies and rental properties that have occurred in Homestead since then, that it would be a way to, at least on an annual basis, ensure compliance with some minimum housing standards and police the living conditions in this community throughout the rather extensive rental properties that we have in our community. So, Charles?
Mayor, members of council, we are working on those changes, and I don't know if Councilwoman Garner, who is a committee chair of that, would like to discuss that, but we have been meeting with that.
Yes. Thank you. Well, it occurred to me last week, or at our last meeting, when there were several extensive concerns voiced about crime in some of our new subdivisions, and the indication seems to be that perhaps those perpetrators are coming from rental properties within that community. If there's anything we can do to help the homeowners and the residents to protect themselves, and if this is one tool to do it, let's put it in our toolbox and move forward. I'm sorry, Ms. Garner.
Oh, thank you. Actually, I'm glad that you brought that up. I considered it a health safety issue, and it kind of was put on the back burner for a little while, but Mr. LaPrade has been working on it, and most of the code is already there. We may make a few minor adjustments to it, and I would welcome your suggestions. But Mr. LaPrade and Captain Chong of Code Enforcement and I are meeting this Thursday, and we're going to discuss their enforcement. I believe that they're going to need some additional officers, and I hope I have your support on that. And once we have our meeting and discuss everything, I'll be bringing that to a committee of the whole.
Thank you. The reason I put this on the agenda is, sometimes after meetings, after the fact, you reflect back and realize that there are things we've been looking at that could be applied into areas that we didn't necessarily target. And, apparently there is, or at least was, some serious crime issues and, quality of life issues that can all be addressed by revisiting this ordinance, beefing it up, and doing some better enforcement. So I just wanted to make sure that was still on track and let the people out there know who are having those issues that we're not unmindful of that, and we'll go at those quality of life issues from whatever direction we need to come. A couple of other announcements quickly, if I might. Homestead is to be commended at its turnout level for the last election in November. But it also occurred to me that, as our community grows by leaps and bounds and voter turnout becomes greater, we're going to have a severe backlog or logjam of voters at our existing polling places. And I'm working with our city clerk to sometime within the next couple of weeks to go downtown and meet at length with the supervisor of elections and identify some potential additional sites and some replacement sites that would be more able to sufficiently handle the influx of voters that I think we'll have in both local, county, and national elections from here on out. I mean, it's very likely. I haven't seen the numbers lately, but our voter rolls are just swelling here by people who are active and involved, and well, I believe we'll get out and vote, and I think that we have the time now to head off that problem well before it manifests itself this coming November. So I just wanted to keep you informed of that. We'll bring back some of the proposals or some of the probable solutions that will come out of that. And Vice Mayor, if I might, I know I wasn't able to attend, and I think there were some others who were not able to attend, but before we have that committee of the whole meeting, if the clerk could distribute the minutes of the meeting, of the Education Committee meeting, and a roster of who was there, so that for those of us who weren't there, we can have a better understanding of what the decision was that was reached and what the rationale was, and just the various input. Unfortunately, I was not able to be there, and I would like to have that with me as we sit down to identify, some alternative sites.
Patty will be sending that to all of council.
Very good, thank you. Finally, I want to announce that on February 4th, that's Friday, February 4th, the Rotary Club of Homestead will host its 20th annual charity auction. Over the last 20 years, this event has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarship money and other youth activity money that stays right here in this community. But most importantly of all, you have to remember that the people who are cooking there are the ones who taught the people how to cook that are doing the work at the Junior Women's Club event the week before. And it'll both be fantastic food, and you come, and it's just as we've always said, for a small town, we really have great events and a very generous and active community when it comes to opening our wallets and supporting those events. So that's February 4th, and the Red Cross Ball will also be, and I don't know what annual this is, somewhere in the mid-20s, early 30 years of the Homestead chapter of the Red Cross Ball, and that will be on February 12th. And that will be at what is now called, I believe, the Palmetto Bay Community Center, which is the former Burger King headquarters. I have not seen it since the renovation, but I understand it's just beautiful and will be a really neat site, new site for the Red Cross Ball. And the Homestead event always raises just out of proportion to what the other events do for the number of people who are there and what the charges are to attend. So those are just two very important Homestead is Home, hometown events that are coming up that I'd like everybody to put on their calendar. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Mr. Porter?
One thing, Mayor, I guess today, anyone that tried to drive Chrome Avenue or US 1 realized there was a little bit of a problem with traffic, and I'll defer to the chief, but I know that I got an email that there was a gentleman that tried to go to a local bank and was basically robbed by 4 individuals that subsequently tried to run from the police and didn't make it. They had an accident, were all were apprehended. 2 were, I guess, airlifted out from their injuries, and 2 were in the back of squad cars. So, you know, that's remarkable response time for the PD to be that quick to catch an a burglary in progress or an armed robbery in progress. So, Mr. Manager, I don't know if you have anything else to add subsequent to the email, but is that pretty much the story? Well, the money was recovered, all the money. That was a good thing also. And so was a gun, and probably 4 guys that don't need to be hanging on the streets will be off the streets. So that's...
they were not from this area, was it?
I think that's still pending. One fellow had a Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know whether he's been down here or still just had it on his license, but at this point we haven't heard any more on the backgrounds of these guys. I'm sure it'll probably blossom into other things. Well, I just want to remind everyone that, you know, the police are out there, you know, really working hard to try to keep the streets safe, and every now and then they catch a bad rap, but more often than not, they're out there really doing a great job. And Chief, you know, to you and your guys, thank you. Like the manager said, that's 4 people that probably don't need to be riding around in Homestead, and thanks to you, they're not anymore. So, but I just thought that was quite interesting, Mayor. I thought I'd bring that up. I also wanted to say that the Military Affairs Committee, which is a division or function of the Chamber of Commerce, has really put forward the welcome wagon to all these new entities that are coming into the Homestead Air Reserve Station, and we had an opportunity Friday night to officially welcome the new base commander, Colonel Falcon, and also the gentleman that spoke tonight from the Coast Guard. And they're very excited to be here, and we're very excited for them to be here. I didn't get a chance to ask the gentleman how many people from his division will be here, will ultimately be living and spending money and residing, in most cases, inside this community. So, you know, it's a hidden jewel, it's a hidden asset, and a large portion of the community is really doing its part to make these people, the new people that are coming in, feel very, very welcome. And I commend the Military Affairs Committee and the Chamber of Commerce for taking that action, in addition to what you see the council and the city itself do. So these are good people, and it goes back to the days when we had the active duty Air Force here. That was tremendous for this community. The financial shot in the arm that these different divisions will bring back, and the quality of the citizens that they'll bring back, will be something that I think will help us in the long run and help to fill up some of these new houses with good quality citizens. So kudos to the gentleman coming forward, and I hope that more of these different agencies will come to the council meetings and give us an opportunity to hear firsthand what they're doing and meet them and get on a one-to-one basis with them, so that the community sees it not just as a small reserve unit, but really more as a full-service, active national security base, which is what it's taken the flavor of. So anyway, that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Porter. Just some few highlights here. We've had an interesting 2 weeks, but let me really express my appreciation to Marlene and the Parks Department and the manager's office for really assisting Mr. Brown in putting on a first-class parade in spite of the rain. I really want to thank you all for your effort, your involvement in that activity. But also important was the breakfast on Friday morning. I've been to many, most of them that we've had over the last 20 years, and the one on Friday was very, very special. I mean, it was decorated superbly. well put together, and we were very fortunate to have the superintendent, Dr. Rudy Crew, who just made a beautiful presentation about his goals for the public school system in Miami-Dade County. So Molly and I just think that the Human Relations Board should be recognized at some point. I mean, they put a lot of work into it, and with your help and Councilwoman Wallman and raising funds to make it happen. So thank you all so very much. I was very, very pleased, very pleased. As we talked a couple of weeks ago about the baseball stadium, I think, Mr. Manager, you and your staff and Councilwoman Wallman, as we plan for the future of that facility, some preliminary planning need to take place, and especially in terms of the maintenance and what we need to do to sustain that beautiful facility. And I know as we're approaching the budget year, we certainly need to look at budget and appropriate dollars to do the maintenance that is necessary to sustain it, and at some point this council needs to determine the direction of it. But I think some preliminary planning need to take place, and we know that we can get input from the base as what we can and cannot do out there until that study come back. So, but I think just the upkeep is important right now.
Mayor, if I might interrupt you, I talked to our city manager, and I asked him to bring in an engineer, an expert, to come in and tell us just what it's going to cost to bring that stadium up to speed. And we need to know. It's time we know, and not just put Band-Aids and glue on it. You know, it's time we find out exactly what's wrong, exactly what we need. Do we need a new roof? Do we not need a new roof? Do we want to spend those hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that or not? You know, we just need to know that. And without knowing, we're all guessing. You know, we had so many people get up and say it's worth this, or it's not worth that, or it's worth this. We don't know. You don't know until you have an expert go in there and tell you what it's worth and tell you what needs to be done to it. So I thank you, Mayor, for bringing it up, though, tonight. And Mr. Ivey, I'm assuming that we are in the process of finding that information.
We're in the process of getting that information, also getting it appraised.
Good.
We are in the audit season, Elena, and I know you all at work on that. Could you just give me a status on where we are? Are we within the time frame of getting it completed within?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The audit is moving about rather swiftly. We have not been advised of any findings at this moment. Rather, there were 2 findings, and we were able to demonstrate that there were other controls and compensating procedures so that they not be findings. The auditors are on site, and they have been throughout, let's say, towards the end of December, all of January. They're expected to stay on site through the end of this week, possibly a few days of next week, and that would conclude their field work. And then they will be putting together the report and starting on the presentation. We are working very hard. My department right now is a little bit short-staffed, and we're working very hard to provide them with all the information and answer all the questions that they have. It looks to be a very good audit year, but I don't want to make any conclusions until we have a report. But I can tell you that thus far I have not been informed of any findings.
In your comments in the weekly report, you talked about the condition assessment study in compliance with the GASB 34. Will we be able to meet that requirement?
We are compliant at this point with everything that we have given them and everything they have asked for. We have no reason to believe that we will be in any kind of default.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And finally, Mr. LaPratt always shared with me about the theater, and I am so pleased that I see some dirt is being moved and the place is being cleared out, and we're well on our way with this theater, ladies and gentlemen, and that's a good thing. So I think everything is in place. We'll soon start seeing some structures coming up out of the ground, and the community will be pleased once that theater open. So thank you, Charles, for keeping me updated on that. Thank you very much. And that's all I have. Any business from the, Charles?
Just another update. I've been approached by the owners of the commercial component of the theater site, and they were approved for 75,000 square feet of commercial space. They're now talking about adding another 20,000 to that due to demand of space.
Outstanding.
So,
outstanding. Thank you.
Good update. Good update.
Any business from the public? As you come forth, give us your name and address for the record.
Hello, Earl Johnson, and I was curious in if the council has addressed Southern Command at all, and its relocation. I know about a month ago there was something in the paper that Doral is petitioning for them to come down. And if you know anything about Doral, I mean, they don't have any more housing there. The place is cramped, traffic is unbearable, and we have all the resources. We have the homes. We have the structure to set up things that they need, as well as land and space. Are we offering this to them at all?
Yes, sir. I think the manager can share with you, we went to Washington last summer to present the Homestead Air Reserve Base as the location for the South Command. And as you know, there's a big debate on jurisdiction. You got both the Mario and Lincoln. In the Doral area is located in Lincoln's district. And so his brother is hesitant and, just put it on the table and said, well, take it out of my brother's district, bring the Homestead. But there was a presentation made by the Military Affairs Committee, reference all of the advantages and reasons why they should move to the Homestead Air Reserve Base. Very legitimate reasons. Primarily cost involved. It would be a tremendous cost savings for them to come to Homestead. And we have everything they need here, as you mentioned. All those are the positives that we see. But it's not only the military got to make a decision, I think it's also a political decision too. And that's a sticking point. Because it's a major economic benefit for wherever it goes. And I think to leave Lincoln's district to come to his brother's district, going to be a little fight there. So. But we have presented a proposal for them to come to Homestead.
Do we have any lobbyists or anything?
Yes, sir.
We do. My other question was for Homestead Hospital. There's a rumor going on now that the ER is going to be 35 beds. Is that a true rumor? And I'm saying it as a negative, because with our growth, 35 beds is not going to be able to handle the things that we had. You mentioned that we had the helicopter came and had an air rescue with the event that had occurred. And this is taking time from the other units. And I know that we've talked about in the past about the different firehouses that we will be getting, but that still takes time. And so that's holding up our service, our emergency service for the rest of the community. And in saying that, is that like Homestead now, sometimes there's a 2-hour wait. And I don't know if you realize that holds your rescues for 2 hours. So now that you have a Homestead, say Station 16, that's being held there for 2 hours, then maybe a Station 34, which is in Cutler Ridge, has to respond to your heart attack. And that is a big thing with the hospitals. So if we had a 100-bed or even a 50-bed emergency room, that would really free up the time. And until we can get our firehouses established, that we can meet all the emergency medical needs of our community. And there was also a rumor attached to this too, is that Jackson Memorial may be trying to take over the old Homestead Hospital. Is there anything to that?
There's nothing to that. There's not.
So in conclusion, is there a possibility, do we have as a city, or do you have as a council, have any openings that you can talk to Homestead Hospital and see if they can make it? Can you request a larger ER facility?
Mr. Mayor,
I'm not aware of what the capacity is.
I may account on it. We're not really aware of the capacity issue you're talking about, but I do know, at least for the initial phase, that the beds are going to be the same number as they have over there in the current hospital now, which we know is not going to be enough. But it's the state that allots the hospital beds, and they're in the process now of dealing with the state in terms of the number of beds that will be authorized for the hospital. But that's a state decision. As far as in the ER, I don't have any information about the size that's going to be in the number of beds, but I know they are. We've had conversations. They're building this hospital to handle not only their increased needs, but the increased needs that are going to come with the growth. They had that in mind when they built the hospital. In terms of fire rescue, we do have 2 stations coming, one at our Park of Commerce site, one at 344, and there is a rescue truck being added to the south end. Right now it's going to be housed at Station 16. We are having conversations with them about helping them find a location out on the east side that would assist them in those that distance and getting to the east to provide services, which now, since we're getting more populated, we're getting more calls out that way. But that's about what I know on those 2 issues.
Correct. That's Rescue 65 that you're mentioning. And when I was speaking about the beds, I understand that's correct what you're saying about the beds as the beds on whole, but the ER beds are different. Like if you go into a busy time, you can see beds around the desk or down the hallways. They can add beds. The idea of Homestead hospitals is that they're going to have separate rooms in the ER for their patients. But it's very important that we find out now, because 35 beds is not going to help. And while they're constructing, the management of the rooms are easier to add now than when the structure is completed. And I'm just asking for the council to see if they can look into it.
Well, we'll ask that question on the beds in the ER room and see what we can find out.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
One other, I'd like to make a comment on that. Last year, it was the law in the state of Florida that the state of Florida had to approve how many beds you had, and that's why the new hospital had the same amount of beds as the old hospital, and that's why they have one complete floor designed to be completely empty, like a shell, so that when they are allowed to add beds, they can go ahead. They've already got everything in place for the additional beds. But that law was actually overturned last year, and a new law was put in place that the Florida legislature does not now anymore regulate the size of your hospital as far as beds go. So that is no longer the law as of just this past current legislative session. So that was changed, but at the time the construction of the hospital began, that was the law. Now I have no idea how many beds are going to be in the emergency room, but 35 I think would be about twice as many as they have now. But that's something we can definitely check into, but I don't know that we could have any authority or say so in how many beds, emergency room beds, the hospital has.
Just that's more of a request.
Okay.
It would be very powerful if the mayor would be able to go and say, we've heard or we think that it would be better. And
they probably would want statistics from rescue. Yeah, okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that with the Florida legislature.
Mayor, may I just say one quick thing? Also, one thing that I don't know if you're aware of, but we do have a pediatric emergency room now, and that will also follow onto the new hospital, and that's made a huge difference. I mean, I ran into somebody yesterday at the grocery store that said they ran in and out of there in half an hour, and that's wonderful that our children are being taken care of in that timely manner. But they do have in Homestead Hospital a pediatric emergency room.
The 35 beds were adult beds, and the pediatric they're also increasing.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Bob Farnes. I'm with the Greater Homestead, Florida City Chamber of Commerce.
And thank you, Mr. Manager, for announcing our event this Saturday from 12 to 4. We look forward to having the support for the city that we normally do. As you know, besides having some great chili recipes and cooks, our chili chefs and outhouse sponsors get really carried away with their displays and get real creative. And as charity event, I'd like to extend a personal invitation to City Council to come out and be a judge for us. We'd appreciate your help and hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other business from the audience? Any other business? If not, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.
I'll finish all this here.